Hi, I'm Shy Guy from Podder.net, and today we'll be looking at the full lineup of ROG Strix cards, ranging from the ROG Strix GeForce RTX 2080 Ti to the ROG Strix 2060. So the questions we'll be answering today is whether the GeForce RTX cards are worth getting, and if it is, which one should you get? So let's go! So I guess by now the ROG Strix GeForce RTX cards aren't strangers to you guys, but let me just do a brief introduction for you guys. So this is the GeForce RTX 2080 Ti. It packs the Turing TU102 GPU and 11 gigs of GDDR6 memory. ASUS used their latest Exertech fans here. As you can see, there's a ring around the fan. It increases the static pressure to improve the cooling performance. ASUS also used their Auto Extreme technology here, which is a fully automated process to ensure that the PCB is of top-notch quality for better reliability. Of course, along the top of the card and also on the side a little bit, you see some RGB accents, and also an Aura Sync header is found at the end of the card. This is the GeForce RTX 2080. This card here features the Turing TU104 GPU and 8 gigs of GDDR6 memory. As you can see, ASUS also used the Exertech fans here for better cooling. Interestingly, ASUS included two fan connect 2 headers at the end of the card as well as the Aura Sync header, while the GeForce RTX 2080 Ti did not come with the fan connect headers. This is also NVIDIA's lowest end GeForce RTX card to support multi-GPU setups, so you can see the NVLink connector at the side. The RTX 2070. ASUS didn't use their Acertech fans here, instead reverting to the older wing blade design. The rest of the card is pretty similar though, as you can still see the milder brace going around with the GeForce RTX branding on the sides. Probably the reason behind the milder looking brace is because of the lighter cooler. Under the cooler here is the TU106 GPU and 8 gigs of GDDR6 RAM. And the RTX 2060. Once again, no Acertech fans here. It looks pretty similar to the older cards aside from the fact that there is the GeForce RTX branding here on the side. The branding is part of a metal brace to improve the GPU rigidity, so you won't get much flex with this card. The GPU here is a cut down TU106 GPU and it comes with 6 GB of GDDR6 memory. So as you may know, the GeForce RTX 2060 is compared directly against the previous generation's GeForce GTX 1070 Ti. And also for comparison, we also got the GeForce GTX 1060, which is from the same 60 family. So you can see the benchmarks here to compare them. So as you can see from the graphs here, all of the GeForce RTX cards are performing pretty well even at 4K, with even the lowest end RTX 2060 offering more than 30 frames per second. If you're coming from a console, I would say that's pretty acceptable. Now once we enable RTX, the frame rates take a pretty serious dip. Turning on DLSS improves the situation by quite a bit, with up to 50% improvements here. The RTX 2060 just flops around once RTX is turned on, but then again it was probably never designed for 4K. With that said, the RTX 2060 is still probably my favorite RTX card due to the fact that it offers everything Turing has to offer and is still pretty affordable. It has the RT cores for RTX and Tensor Core for DLSS, and if you are playing at below 1440p, it's going to be more than enough for you. Of course, there is the GTX 1660 Ti now, but given that it does not offer RT cores or Tensor cores, it's probably a lesser of an option. So among these cards, the most interesting one to me is probably the GeForce RTX 2060, because to me it is the most affordable card right now that offers all the benefits of the Turing architecture, and it represents a pretty interesting upgrade for gamers. It has the RT cores, the Tensor cores, and also is affordable. So one of the highlights of the Turing architecture is of course the ray tracing feature that it offers, and while it's only available in only one game right now, Battlefield 5, as you know, it is expected to come to a lot more games, including Shadow of the Tomb Raider. The game currently looks fantastic, but we just can't wait to get the time where we actually see ray trace shadows in it whenever it arrives lah. So for a more immediate experience of ray tracing, you can of course look at Battlefield 5, where it's already played by a lot of people, and the ray trace reflections in the game looks quite good. So it is worth noting that while DXR in Battlefield 5 does seem a bit pointless because no one will be looking at the beautiful reflections in a fast-paced shooter, but yeah, it does look different, I would say. At this point though, we are looking at quite severe frame rate reductions when we are playing with DXR. So it will seem quite redundant, but that is where DLSS comes in. DLSS, or Deep Learning Super Sampling, allows the GPU to render the game at a lower resolution. It uses the Tensor cores to output the game at higher resolution. So instead of having to render the full 4K visuals and apply the super sampling onto it to get the anti-aliasing, your GPU won't have to work nearly as hard, and the benefit is that you will be enjoying higher frame rates. So now probably it's time to talk about DLSS. It's practically AI enhanced upscaling. The frame rate improvements you see from enabling DLSS is from the fact that your GPU doesn't have to work as hard to render at full resolution, and takes advantage of the tensor core's ability to upscale and apply anti-aliasing. There's no free lunch though, as DLSS actually results in lesser graphic fidelity. It may seem quite counterintuitive to use RTX to improve graphical detail and then use DLSS to reduce it, just so you can enjoy higher performance. However, given that DLSS stands for Deep Learning Supersampling, it implies that NVIDIA's neural network may learn how to optimize image quality further in the future. Whether this is actually a part of NVIDIA's plans remains to be seen, but we have our fingers crossed. I guess by now you realize that I have no real answer to the question whether GeForce RTX cards are worth getting. So now, which card should you get? The GeForce RTX 2080 Ti is definitely the card you get if you have the budget for it. The fastest single card out there, and ray tracing and DLSS can be considered as bonuses if you may. The GeForce RTX 2060 is by far the best entry point to enjoy ray tracing and DLSS, and it comes with a reasonable price tag and also pretty good performance across the board. I have somewhat of a mixed feeling towards the GeForce RTX 2070 and 2080, which you can read more about in the reviews linked below. So to conclude our video, I would like to thank ASUS Malaysia for providing us with the cards, and NVIDIA for sharing more about the technologies behind the card as well as what games will be supporting these cards. So thank you all for watching, and do let us know what you think about the GeForce RTX cards or NVIDIA Turing in general. As usual, subscribe to us, like our video, and see you next time. Bye!